Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? I swore that I would never ever get into another abusive relationship ever again. But I'm driving home from work the other day and I realized, oh my God, I am in an abusive relationship with my job. I know that sounds completely crazy, but hear me out. I'm willing to bet after watching this video, you're going to start to reconsider your relationship with your own job. One of the hallmarks of being in an abusive relationship is you don't really realize it while it's happening. I remember vividly being in my therapist's office talking about a relationship I'd had in the past, and she said, "You realize that was an abusive relationship, right?" And I was shocked. I was stunned. I just never really thought of it that way. I had normalized so much dysfunction that I couldn't even see it. And even though this video isn't about that relationship, the parallels between relationships like that and jobs can be really astounding. The more I thought about it, the more I realized all the signs were there. The control, the fear, the dependency, the manipulation, the gaslighting, the false promises, and this ever-present fear of abandonment. Most of us wouldn't tolerate that kind of behavior from a person, but when it comes to our job, well, it's different, right? We tell ourselves, well, it's not that bad. We minimize it, we rationalize it. We start to tell ourselves that the exhaustion, the anxiety, the burnout, and the constant fear of disappointing somebody, well, that's just all part of being an adult, right? That's professionalism. But if you take the word boss and replace it with partner, well, it doesn't sound so good, does it? An abusive relationship always revolves around control. One side has all the power to discard you at will. And that's the foundation of a modern job, isn't it? Your employer can end the relationship anytime they want to. You're not in that same position because you have bills, you have health insurance to worry about, you have family you have to take care of. It's not so easy, is it? That imbalance alone creates a huge psychological trap. You're constantly reminded that your survival depends upon you staying in line, and that realization colors every single decision that you make. How you speak, how you behave, and what you tolerate. That's not a partnership, that's captivity, and that's exactly what an abusive partner does. I've noticed that corporations take gaslighting and elevate it to an art form. I've raised concerns many times and heard, "Oh, we hear you, we'll look into it." And if you're burned out, maybe they'll suggest, well, how about a mindfulness workshop? How many times have you been told that your legitimate feelings were personal weaknesses, that maybe you weren't aligned with company values? You start questioning your own beliefs. You start doubting your perceptions and your instincts, and you're second guessing your worth because they're telling you, oh, well, you're just not working hard enough, or you're not seeing the big picture. I remember being told one time that if I worked over 5 hours, that I was breaking the law and I would get in trouble. It's like, guys, that law is in place to protect me from you, not the other way around. They didn't agree with that, by the way. And if you're wondering, free tip, HR is not there to protect you from the company, it's to protect the company from you. But let's start harping on that, because there's more. How about the love bombing? When you first show up at a job or in an abusive relationship, they love you. We're glad to have you here. Welcome aboard. You have a bright future here. And sooner or later, things start to go sour, and they give you these false promises. Well, things are going to get better, or we're going to do better next quarter, or you didn't get a bonus this time, but you'll get it next time. You just have to work harder. I'll try harder. Things will get better, honey. Really? When that growth doesn't happen, when things don't get better, guess whose fault it is? It's yours, and they'll let you know it's yours. All that praise disappears and is replaced with constant criticism, a constant watchful eye over your shoulder. There's micromanaging and performance evaluations, observations, then there's a GPS in your car, then they're calling to ask what you're doing right now, and then you're told that your behavior on the weekend and outside the job reflects upon the company. You bring up a concern only to be told, it's not that big of a deal, stop being a baby, and why didn't you fix that? Just like in an abusive relationship with another person, your life starts to shrink. Maybe the job isn't controlling everything you're doing outside of work, but by the time you're outside, you're worried about what's going on, or you're wondering if you're going to get into trouble, or if you're going to get that bonus, and you're exhausted from putting all that emotional energy into the job, so you really don't have too much for anything else. Very often, the guilt and obligation start to sink in as well, and we start to believe that we owe them our time, we owe them our loyalty, we owe them our weekends, we owe them buying into the company mission, and what are they buying into with us? What are we getting out of this? And maybe you get to the point where you decide, I need to leave this, but then you second guess yourself. Well, who would take me next? What will I do without them? Who would date me? Who would hire me? How will I survive without them? Where will I get my health insurance? What am I going to do to pay my bills? What if the next job is even worse? Maybe I should just stay where I am. Maybe they're right about me. Maybe I am the one at fault for all this. And if you think that, give yourself a break. Those questions aren't irrational. Those are the byproduct of planned dependency. You've been conditioned to believe that your livelihood, your identity, and your self-worth come from the relationship itself, and they do not. That fear is why so many people stay in jobs for years, decades, jobs that are killing them emotionally, mentally, even physically. And we call this maturity. We call this responsibility. And it's normalized misery, whether it's a job or an abusive relationship. It's a truism in psychology. A lot of therapists have patients, when they finally leave an abusive relationship, they look back and say, I can't believe I stayed there so long. I can't believe I let this go on as long as it did, and I'm so glad I got out. And it's not that different with leaving an abusive job. The good news is that you're not stuck in there. You can get out of an abusive job, just like you can get out of an abusive relationship. It's not as dire as an abusive relationship, especially a physically abusive one, in which case you need to get out right now, no kidding. It's something that's going to take some work, but it's not beyond you. It's not impossible. Those feelings that you'll never be able to do anything else or survive without them, that's been conditioned into you. It is not true. Just like there's life after that bad relationship, there is life after that abusive job. So take a good hard look at your job. See it for what it is, and if it's abusive, start taking steps to get out of it. It'll be scary, but it'll be worth it. I would love to hear your opinions on this, what your experiences have been. Do you think I'm crazy? And as always, thanks a lot for watching. If you want to support the channel, there are super thanks below, or you can just like the video and subscribe. And I'll talk to you later, kids.